What's up? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Oceana, and in this video I thought I would go over how to step-by-step set up your OnlyFans profile. So I am making my third profile right now. I already have a free page, a paid subscription page that has pay-per-view, and now I'm making my third and final page, which is going to be a no pay-per-view page, which is going to be at like the highest tier level. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen record this and put it up on the screen right over here so you guys can see how to set up your OnlyFans profile from scratch. So, alright, so this is basically how your screen is going to look when you just set up. All I've done so far is I've signed in with an email, a password, and then I set my name. As you can see, I haven't even set like my handle yet. The @ is like just some generic U with some numbers, which is like what everybody gets when they sign in. At this point in time, when the screen looks like this, I am not actually a creator. I just have an OnlyFans account, so I can essentially like sub to other people, but this is not a creator account yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and click the bottom right where it says OC. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring out this little drop down here, and we are going to click down. We're going to look down all the way to where it says become a creator to earn, and we're going to go ahead and click on that. So now it prompts me to set up my picture as well as my header and as well as my about me information. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly set that up. Okay, so we threw in a banner and a picture for now. I'm probably gonna go in and change those because, as I'm sure you can see, my banner didn't even fit. I have to figure out which one I made, which was for that, because I used the same banner for like my YouTube and like a couple other places, so I need to figure out which one to do for that. But let's move on just so y'all can basically see how to set this up. So it's gonna have you click to confirm that you are over 18, that you're in the US or wherever you are. And then we recommend using a mobile device or a device with camera to complete this verification step. So we're going to go ahead and complete the verification. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen recording for this part, just so it doesn't mess it up at all. So we're going to stop the screen recording there. And I'm going to go in and do this third-party verification real quick. So basically what it's going to have you do here is blah, 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 blah. We're going to go down. We're going to agree to terms of service. Oh, I totally forget. It actually has you, I thought it did a face recognition, but it's actually going to ask for your ID. So I'm just going to go ahead and whip out my ID super fast. Okay. Let me go ahead and get a picture of this. Allow. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna go ahead and just go through this real quick. Okay, so it basically just had me do front and back of my ID card. Now it's asking me to take a selfie, position your face in the middle of the frame, and follow the instructions. Photo should not be blurry. So we're gonna go ahead and take this, not blurry, no bad lighting, and make a neutral face. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Waiting for the camera to come up. Okay. All right, it is validating my photo. I will be back in just a second. Okay, we're back, and it looks like the verification went through, at least so far. I'm not going to screen record this part because it is asking for my personal information, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. It's basically just asking for the same information that you've got on your ID, essentially. Okay, so once you've already sent in all of your ID information, you've entered in like your address, all your personal info, this is what's gonna pop up next. It has you take a picture of, like, it does a facial recognition, has you take a picture of your ID front and back, and then it also has you take a picture of you holding your ID next to your face. So now it just basically says please allow 24 to 48 hours for review. So now we wait, and I will come back to y'all once this gets approved. And we are back. Fun fact, it's about a week later. So I sent in my ID for approval. It got rejected. I did it again and it got rejected. Third time was a charm though. So we are up and running. We have our third account officially as a creator account. So yeah, basically all we have to do now is it prompts us to add our bank account. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Off camera, of course. 1 second. Okay, so before adding my bank account, it is having me fill out a W-9. Now, I'm not going to give any advice on how to fill out yours, but I will say that any questions I had, I just did a quick Google search to figure out what check boxes I should check for me. I highly recommend you doing the same. I just don't want to give any advice on that because, yeah, I don't think I'm qualified. So, but yeah, filling out the W-9 now, and I will check back once we have this filled out. Alright, so we got the W-9 filled out. Now it prompts us to add our bank account data, which I'm going to go ahead and add right now, and I will see you in a few. Okay, so W-9 is finished, bank account is connected. Now we are officially ready to set the subscription price. So let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all again. Okay, so setting your subscription price, obviously this is whatever you want to go ahead and set it to. Since this is going to be my no pay-per-view page, I am going to be setting it for the highest subscription amount available, which is $50. Save. Okay, and once we got that saved, now below you'll see that it gives you the option if you want to do any kind of profile promotions, free trial links, or tracking links. The tracking links are nice if you're trying to figure out like where people are coming from, but I'm not going to be using any of those today. Free trial links, I probably will be sending a couple free trial links to my other pages, so that way I can just get my likes up with my other pages, because one of the first things people see when they subscribe to your page is how many likes you have, so I'll probably do that. I do not plan on running any promotions on this page as of now. Maybe if it's a holiday or, you know, like a special occasion or, you know, as the seasons change, I might do something. But that's a hard maybe, especially because this is going to be a no pay-per-view page. So let's go ahead and move on. You can add subscription bundles. I'll probably do that too, but I'm going to hold off for now. I kind of want to take some time and think about if I even want to do that and how I want to lay that out. So we're going to hold off on that for now. So let's go ahead and hop back over here. So let's just kind of go down all of these just so that way you kind of know what all of them are about. So we do have my profile at the top, which will just take you to my main page here. You can go ahead and add your social links right here. I will probably do that in a little bit. I'm not too worried about that right now because I don't want this video to be too long. But I'll probably add like my Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, you know, all my basic stuff. And I will fill out a better over here on edit profile. I will go ahead and add in, let's go ahead and add in my, we're going to do that hippie Oceana. So that hippie Oceana is going to be my display name. I kind of want to add, let's see here, we'll do that underscore, there we go. I like the way that looks better. Okay, make sure it's spelled right. That hippie Oceana. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you can at this point in time update your username to something more personable. I've got my display name. I'll add in a more clever bio here soon. I'm not too worried about that right now. Location, probably not going to fill anything out there. I don't use an Amazon wishlist myself, but I know a lot of other girls that do know that if you're going to use the Amazon wishlist that people will be able to see what city you're in. It does hide your exact address, but as long as you're okay with people knowing your city, the Amazon wishlist is a great thing to use. People love to buy stuff off of it for you, especially like outfits and toys and, you know, that kind of stuff, or just, you know, gifts in general. So there's that. For the website, I will go ahead and add in my link tree. I do absolutely recommend Beacon's AI for your link tree over like the actual link tree or other ones. I just feel like the way it looks is awesome. It's way more customizable. Yeah, I don't know, it just looks so much prettier and you have so many more options with it. I've even heard from other creators that it has its own media kit, which I haven't even gotten into yet. But yeah, highly recommend beacons.ai for your link hub. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, what else do we want to do for now? We got our subscription price in there. Bundles. I mentioned that earlier. I'll probably do something for like if you buy 3 months, you'll get like a discount. If you do 6 months, you'll get a discount. If you do 12 months, you'll get a discount. It probably will only be like 10, 15, and 20%, but I'm still going to think on that before I add anything. Because again, this is my no pay-per-view page, and I'm just really not trying to give it out for free. So yeah, free trial links, we talked about that. Tracking links, we talked about that. Let's hop into fans and following. I feel like this is a really important one. So it's very important to auto follow your fans. And I would definitely turn off the unfollow when the subscription has ended. By keeping your toggles like this, so auto following back your fans and making sure that you keep following them after their subscription has ended, this makes it to where anybody who's ever subscribed to you, if you are running some kind of, so like on my paid page, for example, this makes it to where if I launch any pay-per-view on my subscription page that has pay-per-view, I can still send out those pay-per-views to anybody who's ever been subscribed, regardless if they're still actively subscribed to my page or not. For this, I'll also keep it on. That way, if I need to update them for anything, like if I just want to send out like a little promo message just saying like new pay-per-view drop to the page or anything like that, I can still message them. And kind of keep in touch with like my fan base. So highly recommend doing that regardless if it's a no pay-per-view page or a pay-per-view page, but especially for that pay-per-view page. You're gonna make so much more money that way. 1 free month for Refer. I do have that on for my pay-per-view page, but I think I'm gonna keep it off for this page. Following price, $50. Notify top 1% and 5% fans. Sure, we'll keep that on. Okay, I like the way all this looks. Let's go ahead and hop down. Social media buttons, I'll fill that out later. Spotify account, I've never put that up personally. Spring store, I don't even know what that is. Okay, I don't have a spring store, so I guess if you have that, fill that out. Things I like, they've updated this since the last time I have filled out one of these, because these were not all options before. Create prominent links to things you like on Amazon, Goodreads. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's awesome. I'm not going to do that, but that's kind of cool that that is an option. Okay. Web3 avatar, NFTs, privacy and safety. I think we're going to skip all that. Show activity status, yeah, I'll keep that on. Show fan count on your profile. I personally don't like keeping that on. I just feel like it could be a deterrent for, I feel like, a lot of people. Like, I feel like if you don't have many fans, people are like, oh, your page isn't popping. And then I feel like if you have too many fans, people are going to be like, oh, they're not going to get to me or respond to me. So I personally keep that off. You can see how many likes I get engaged that way. So that's how I'm going to leave that. Show media count on your profile. Yes, I'm going to leave that up because I want people to get a better idea of what they're getting when they subscribe. So I don't want them, to subscribe thinking I have a full library up and I've only got a little bit, because I do plan on launching my content out daily, and I'm not just going to like flood my feed all at once, just so there's something popping up all the time. But I do want people to know, at first it's going to be kind of not much content up, but I will be doing daily posts, especially on this page. Public friends list, yes, I'm going to keep that up. I'm going to link my other 2 pages as my friends list, as well as any creators I've made content with. And yeah, that's what I'm going to use my public friends list for. Enable username forwarding from the old username to new username. Yes, I would definitely keep that on. I do have a collab I've done with this one girl who constantly changes her name, which is cool, but I'm happy she keeps that on. So that was 1, my tags stay, and 2, yeah, basically so my tags stay, but also anything I tag her in, she still gets credit and whatnot. But that's important too, because if for some reason somebody you collab with, they change their name and they don't have that on, then when they go to click on the tag that you made that once worked, then it won't work, and that could potentially put your account in trouble because now you don't have a verified creator tagged in your account. Really quickly on that, I've touched on this on other videos, but I'll touch on it real quick in this one, especially for those of you that are new, and it's been a while since I've made an OF advice video. Make sure that anybody you do collabs with, they need to be either a verified creator that you can tag, or you need to fill out the consent forms for them. That's super, super important. I personally don't do the consent forms. I personally just, like, anybody I create with needs to be a verified creator, even if they're not promoting their account. Like, for example, my partner, he's a verified creator on the account, but he's not, like, he only makes content with me, so really the only person who promotes his stuff is me. So, but regardless, I just feel like that's easier than the consent forms. To each their own, though. Just make sure you have one of those two ways filled out. Okay, let's see here. Reserved usernames. I don't even know what that is. Nothing found. Okay, anyways. Discoverability, suggestions opt out. I don't know why you would have that clicked. Definitely you want to be discovered and suggested if you can. OnlyFans does not internally promote people, as far as I know at least. I think only if you're on the like OnlyFans TV thing. But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother thing. But yeah, I'm going to keep that on regardless. OnlyFans, as I'm sure a lot of you know, does not have an internal promotion, so you do have to use your social media to promote and get people to your pages. So let's see here. Allow comments only from subscribers who spend $1 or more. Being that this is a paid page and they have to pay $50 to get in, I don't even think I need to have that on, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Allow only creators who are in your friends list to comment under posts and live streams. I'm going to have that off as well because you have to pay to get in anyways, so I think it's fine. Show post tip sums. I like to leave that on. I feel like if posts show that other people tipped, it may incentivize other people to tip, but that is to each their own. Watermarks. I always keep my watermarks on personally, and I just leave it at the one that it like comes to. So I'm sure, as you can see, it says the current one is onlyfans.com, and then it has my current username. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I always leave it on the bottom right as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave all that alone. That all looks perfect. My photos, my videos, love it. Having the watermark on there, I know it's kind of annoying, but it is just one extra step of protection of making sure like people aren't taking your content, which, you know, still happens to the best of us, but we do what we can to avoid that. Okay, let's move on. We did watermarks, restricted accounts, blocked by country, blocked by IP address. I personally am not going to have any of this stuff on. Some of my biggest spenders are people who know me, or knew me at one point in real life, you know, like whether they knew me in like, you know, back in the day, or we went to school together or something like that. So I don't use that. These are great though if you're trying to not have, if you're like more of a secret creator, and you don't want anyone in like your hometown or even your state or something like that, you know, that's a great way to make sure that, you know, certain places aren't finding you depending on where you're at and what you're doing. Okay, let's see here. I don't know what this DRM video protection is. It says, DRM protection helps to protect video content from being copied or downloaded. After you enable it, DRM protection will be applied to uploads after the date. May limit the ability of fans using older devices to view this video content. I'm gonna leave it off for now because I personally think at the end of the day, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to give people ideas. I'm gonna leave it off though. That's what I'm gonna say. To each their own though. Do what you will. Okay. Awesome. So that is our profile. We're all set up there. Let's just go down the list real quick and make sure there's nothing else we should talk about. Referrals, this is where anybody who signs up under your referral link will find you, or excuse me, this is where they'll go. So anybody that uses your referral link, if you're making, you know, if you're helping other girls or if you're getting girls to sign up for OnlyFans under you, they will show up here. Basically how the referral link works is it makes it to where, so Naturally, OnlyFans takes, oh my gosh, I don't remember. Let me Google real quick. I forget if it's 15 or 20%. I think it's 20. Let's see here. Okay, right. I had it right the first time. I don't know why I was second guessing myself. So OnlyFans does take 20% commissions on all earnings from creators. When you use the referral link though, whoever signs up under you, you get 5% of the 20% that OnlyFans gets. So again, using, getting referrals or using people's referrals, that does not take anything away from any creators. It takes away from the 20% that OnlyFans would get. So instead of OnlyFans getting the 20%, they get 15, and then the creator you sign up under, or whoever you have signed up under you, gets that 5%. And it does add up, just saying. So, okay, let's go ahead and move on from referrals. I already have one referral link set. Oh, by the way, I do have my referral link set up. So any creators that sign up under my OnlyFans referral link, I do help them and give them coaching for up to 12 months of all my tips and tricks, everything I'm using, insights on what I'm doing on social media, insights to groups I'm in, just all that kind of stuff. I just, you can pick my brain for 12 months using my referral link, and I do have that linked. So, moving on. Collections. So this is going to have basically you're following your fans, your friends, who's renewed, who's not. This is nice too because you can send little gifts and stuff like that to people that have their renew on. You can also see who's, all that good stuff. I don't think I really need to explain much there. Let's go ahead and move on. Collections is also nice because you can actually make, so it'll pop up in these post labels. I have this already set up on my subscription pay-per-view page. Basically, you can kind of categorize your content. So, you can have like all your dancing videos all in one area. You can have all of your, I'm trying to be careful on the words I say, so use your imagination with the type of post labels you could use. But you can also have all of your solo stuff listed in one. I'm gonna leave it there and let you kind of figure out the rest, but you can really categorize your content because as you start to build up your library, it kind of just all gets lost in the feed. So for people looking for specific kinds of things, you can have it easy for them to find. I also like to have a post label made for my menu, so it's super easy for me or my fans to find my menu and know prices for other things. So yeah, definitely recommend using the post labels in collections. Let's go ahead and move down. And I don't set that up ahead of time. I just kind of set that up as I start adding content and I'm like, oh, this should go here, this should go here, So that's kind of a do as you go type thing. Queue. This is awesome. So you can basically set up your posts and your messages. I love using this feature. I have a whole nother video about how I batch create my content and how I basically use this queue, and I basically, oftentimes, especially when I'm on top of my stuff, I will totally get like 3 months worth of content, anywhere from 1 month to 3. I like doing 3, but 3 months of content, I'll get it filmed all within a couple days, and then I'll spend the next like day or 2 or 3, depending on how fast I'm working, getting that stuff scheduled out, so that way I'm not having to actually post daily because I'm already, on all the social media platforms daily. I'm doing so many things. So using this queue feature is nice. I don't really use queue features on any of my social medias, but I absolutely love using it for OF. So there is that. I highly recommend using that. Let's go ahead and slide down. Vault. I don't really use this too much, but if you wanted to upload content here to post later, you can. It'll also show any like live streams you do if you want to pull those up later, just your upload, everything will be here. So anything that you've posted or want to post can be put in here and organized that way. I have used it to pull up old live streams that I've wanted to like resell as content, but yeah, there's that. Or post to the feed. That's mainly what I usually do is I'll take my live streams from my vault and I will post them back to my feed. Okay, let's see here, what else do we got? I'm trying to make this video not too long. Statements, statistics. This is basically where you are going to find, hold on, I got a little confused. Statements, that's what I meant to go to. I was like, statistics. Statements, this is where you are going to be able to, as you make your money, this is where you're going to find out how much money you've made. You're also going to be able to request withdrawals. You do have to have at least $20 available on your account to pull it. So when someone pays you, you're not gonna be able to pull it right away. It does take like a day or two to go through the like OF processing thing, and then so you'll see a pending balance right when they pay you, and then once it goes to the blue after OF's like processing thing, then it'll go to blue. Once it's in the blue, then you can pull it out. So once that blue is at least at $20, you can pull out money. And then from there, down below here, at the bottom where it says earnings, it will show you, like once you actually do it, it'll create a graph and show you how much money you've made from subscriptions, tips, posts, messages, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's really all we got to go over there. Transactions can take up to 3 to 5 business days. I do think that might vary based on where you are in the world, but I'm not really going to speak on that. You can also see, so payout requests, this will show you when you've taken money out. It's a great way to stay organized and figure out how much you've been making monthly, how much this, that, the other. I do recommend, don't pull out monthly. As soon as you have money in the blue, I would just pull it out. You never know if something could, like, you know, knock on wood, happen to your account. If anything was to happen to your account, like let's say you went against TOS, terms of service, and something happened to your account or your account got shut down for some reason, any money that you leave in there will be taken by OF and you will not see it. So just make sure to constantly pull that out. And then you can always check your payout request to kind of keep track of what you've made through the month and do it that way, but don't leave it in there just to sit. I've definitely heard of girls losing big chunks of money by just leaving it in there. Chargebacks, this is going to show you anybody who buys your stuff and then gets a refund. I personally will be blocking anybody who does that on this page. Oftentimes people who do that, not gonna lie, they get the refund and then they delete their account, so you can't block them. But if you can block them, there's that, and I do recommend that because that's messed up. I do want to also point out Fansly, although they do not have as big of a fan base, they do not do chargebacks. That is one of the lovely things about Fansly. So yeah, we touched on all of that in statistics. Let's see here, or statements, excuse me. Statistics, I feel like it's roughly about the same thing, so we're not going to touch on that. Same thing as statements, that is. Promotions, this is where you're going to go to make your free trial links. Tracking, we talked about this earlier. You can also change your subscription price there. Below that is release forms. So again, anybody that you collab with, they either need to be a verified creator or you can go into the release forms there. Your cards, if you're not subscribing to other people, you don't need to have that filled out, but it's there if you do. Yeah, I've never used it because I don't subscribe to people, but if you do, it's there. Bank, not going to click on that because I don't want to give my info, but that is where you would add or update your W-9 or your bank information. We have help and support below. I feel like that's self-explanatory. Dark mode, I feel like that's self-explanatory if you just want the black background. I don't like that. English, obviously we can change the language and log out. And that is how you do it. Down below the buttons, I feel like the only other thing we can touch on, let's see here. I think I touched on everything. Top right, there's those 3 buttons. That's right? Yeah, okay. I know my rights and lefts, I promise. Top right, you can click and get statistics, QR code, or share your links. Super, super easy. Down below, going across, we're going from right to left. We have your messages button. The plus button in the middle is going to be how you're going to make posts. You can make your posts up there. Add labels right here. That's going to be how you do that collections that we talked about, so you can organize your content. And then down below, this is where you can access your photo library. That is the very first button on the left. We have the microphone here if you next to it if you want to leave any kind of voice notes, or you can kind of get creative with the kind of audios you can do to post on your feed. use your imagination. I'm not going to get too in detail there. Then we have our Vault. We talked about that, just another way to access it. You can go ahead and tag people from there or get your release forms. Next up, expiration period. I never use this, but you totally can, especially if you're running a poll that you only want done for a limited time. You can also have a tab that you use with those post labels and your collections, and you can just have ongoing polls over to the side. It's a great way to, I have ongoing polls on mine, and it's for like finding out like where did you find me, and I kind of list all my socials to see like where people are finding me from. I also have stuff over there like asking what kind of content people want to see from me, and it's a nice thing where people can just, no pressure, low key, you know, put in their votes. I can see what people are looking for. Yeah, let's see here. Next up, we have your queue that you can access right next to it. Next up, those are those polls we were talking about. You can, they naturally go to 7 days, but you can take it off and have no limit, or you can set it for a lower limit. Then we have, boop, boop, boop. Let's go back to clear. Next, we have got our quiz option. I've actually never even used the quiz feature. I've only used polls. That's kind of fun though. I feel like that's a new feature. I'm definitely gonna play around with that, just because like I feel like it could be fun for games. Just to remember, you can't do any kind of, if you're going to do any games, there always has to be a prize. There can't be any kind of like gambling feature, if that makes sense. There always needs to be some kind of prize if you're going to do a game, because that does go against terms of service if you do it any other way. Let's see here. And then the very last one, oh, I guess it's just if you want to do a regular post like that. Okay. So yeah, that is everything. Next over, you're going to have your notifications, and it is organized at the top, as you can see, with your subscriptions, purchases, tips, tags, all that good stuff. So yeah, you just slide sideways and you can see all that info. And then over to the side, you have got your home feed. All right, I feel like that was a super in-depth, step-by-step how to set up your OnlyFans. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Boom. But yeah, that is essentially how you set up your OF account. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you feel called to, and